From Leif discovering Vinland to Godwin possibly being revealed as the mastermind behind the murders of Harold Harefoot and Hartha Canute.
When I return, I will be a rich and powerful man.
These are the things you can expect to see in Season 3 of Vikings Valhalla, plus a recap of Season 2's final episode. Set 100 years after the original Vikings series, Vikings Valhalla explores the last years of the Norse warlords up to the 1066's Battle of Stamford Bridge. After a highly anticipated wait, Season 2 of Vikings Valhalla has dropped on Netflix, and fans of all things Norse mythology are once again having their minds blown. The series was initially planned for 3 seasons, so you're guaranteed to see Season 3, and don't have to worry about whether or not it will be renewed.
What does it say on your sword?
It says the Keeper of the Faith.
In fact, did you know that Season 3 has already been filmed? Filming for Season 3 began in May of 2022 and wrapped after 5 months in October 2022. Like the previous 2 seasons, Season 3 will consist of 8 episodes. Right now, the 3rd season is currently in its post-production phase, and we can expect it to drop sometime in late 2023. The biggest challenge to knowing what we can expect from Season 3 is that the series contains a significant number of historical inaccuracies. For instance, one of the things that we could expect to see is Leif discovering Vinland. Today, Vinland is better known as Newfoundland and Labrador, one of Canada's 10 provinces and located on the east coast. Although there is no recorded history of Leif ever spending time in Constantinople, after his brief romance with Miriam, she left all of her belongings to him.
Be happy for me.
Something tells me that this is how he will fund his return to Greenland, which will ultimately take him to North America and Vinland, also known as the Land of the Wild Rapes. The only question is, will writers be able to cram this entire storyline into Season 3? Because that is a lot of material to cover. And Leif isn't the only one who's been busy trying to fund his travels. Did you know that in Season 3, we could see Harold trying to fund his way to Norway?
My people call me King Finehair.
Tell me, King Harold, why have you come here?
And of course, by fund, I mean fighting his way across the Empire's many frontiers and seizing the spoils of war to enrich himself. I've got a feeling that in Season 3, we could see Harold join the Varangian Guard. During this period of Harold's life, he joined the elite fighting force known as the Varangian Guard. Composed of fierce and brutal warriors from Northern Europe, the Varangian Guard were the personal bodyguards of the Byzantine Emperor. And let me tell you, these guys do not mess around. The axe-wielding warriors are known for their ability to sack entire cities in a single night. Not surprisingly, Harold was one of the Guard's most famous warriors. He served the Emperor for many years and saw a ton of combat in each corner of the Empire. In exchange for his bloodthirsty effort, Harold became extremely wealthy, and he hoped to use these funds to return to Norway and claim the throne for himself. Where did Harold keep his vast fortune while he was off fighting battles, you ask? Great question. Of course, during these times, it wasn't possible for Harold to keep the fruits of his labor in some high-tech vault or high-interest savings account, so he needed a safe and secure place to stash his moolah. Enter Yaroslav the Wise. As Harold served the Byzantine Emperor for several years, most of the riches he amassed during his violent escapades were sent to Yaroslav the Wise, the safekeeper of his vast fortune. But Harold's departure from the city was no cakewalk. Because Empress Zoe refused to grant him permission to leave, nevertheless, Harold managed to escape without a scratch, and he returned to Yaroslav to collect his fortune. When you're busy sacking cities, it certainly helps to be able to have faith in a trusted confidant like Yaroslav the Wise to keep a watchful eye over your riches. Speaking of faith, where does Freydis, the Keeper of the Faith, stand in Season 3?
My name's Freydis.
After defeating Olaf and returning to Kingsvein to Kattegat, Freydis was able to establish some degree of peace with the Christians, all while keeping the location of Jomsborg a secret, at least for now. The future of the residents of Jomsborg and Freydis remains unclear, but Freydis' son Harold is a fictional character and not one of the known sons of Harold recorded in history books. What we do know is that Freydis sailed west and joined one of the settlements located in Vinland. The saga of the Greenlanders, however, results in her being disgraced, and we see a great deal of disdain for all of her ancestors. In the epic sagas of Eric and Red, though, we're told of a violent battle with some natives, and Freydis' actions during the fight earned her a great deal of respect and admiration. Speaking of history books, did you know that the two sons of King Canute, Harold Harefoot and Hartha Canute, lost their lives under very mysterious circumstances? Harold Harefoot was allegedly struck down by a mysterious illness, and Hartha Canute is alleged to have died of alcohol poisoning during a wedding celebration. Some suspect that Godwin could be the mastermind behind these deaths. What do you think? Godwin lost a lot from his relationship with Alfwin, but in the process he ended up marrying Princess Geetha. In the end, Godwin's son Harold became the last Anglo-Saxon king of England before his death, which took place at the Battle of Hastings to William the Conqueror. However, the best way to predict what we can expect in Season 3 is to closely examine what happened during Season 2's finale episode titled The Reckoning.
There is someone beside me.
The episode opens with Olaf lurking around the coast of Pomerania. While he's there, Olaf hears reports that Freydis is dead, and Harikr is now the ruler of the Vikings who reside there. Olaf's plan is to find Harikr, destroy him, and install Jorundr as leader while demanding that the stronghold becomes Christian. But Olaf has no clue that it's actually Harikr who's dead, and that Freydis is alive and prepping for his attack. Back in England, we have the wedding of scheming Godwin and Princess Geetha, niece of King Cnut. Queen Emma knows that Godwin has been up to no good, arranging murders, tricking kings, and getting married in order to have a child of royal blood. Meanwhile, Leif and Harold head to Constantinople with Miriam and Elena to deliver a treasure from Elena's father, Vitomir of Chud, to the Emperor of Rome. Nothing quite says, let's be friends, like a pile of treasure, or in this case, a bride. Leif grew close to Miriam and is devastated when she dies in his arms. It's around this time that romance blossomed between Harold and Elena. The romance doesn't last long when Elena learns that she is in fact the treasure that's destined to marry the Emperor and become the Empress of Constantinople. As Freydis prepares for the attack on behalf of Olaf, she asks her people to protect her son if she dies, telling everyone he's the son of Harold and the grandson of Eric the Red.
But you've done the opposite.
Meanwhile, Jorundr leads a team of Olaf's men to take out Jon Borg's sentry post, but he turns on them as a group of Vikings jump out to attack. Olaf's men are successfully defeated, but Jorundr is mortally wounded and dies. In the end, Olaf and Freydis do battle, and she impales him with her sword. Nasty. In his dying breath, Olaf tells her that he made him a martyr, but she coldly replies that there is no one left alive to tell his story.
You're all alone.
No, there is someone beside me.
As Freydis heads back to her baby son and her people, a woman asks if she is Freydis, keeper of the faith, and she says, at this point, Freydis is officially the leader of the Vikings.
Action and the life. I shall walk beside you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing more can hurt me.
Those were the things you can expect to see in Season 3 of Vikings Valhalla, plus a recap of Season 2's final episode.